Hello, ladies and gentlemen. After all 4 of the Avengers trailers have come out, I think I kind of got an idea of where Avengers Doomsday is going. So let's just, let's talk about it. All right, so basically, I'm just going to sum up the trailers a little bit, my thoughts, yada, yada. Then I'm going to talk about how they all connect because the Russo brothers in the most recent post said that all these trailers are not trailers, they are clues. And so I think we can figure out this plot. Okay, the first trailer, the Captain America trailer, it opens up and he's riding a motorcycle on his farm. You get the music. He walks up to the house. You see the Captain America symbol. You get the music. It's clearly the house that it was at the end of Endgame. And then he's holding a baby, and it just says Steve Rogers will return in Doomsday. Chris Evans is officially returning for Doomsday, directed by the Russo brothers. The Russo brothers previously directed Captain America and the Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, and even the non-MCU Gray Man. Chris Evans and the Russo brothers are completely familiar with each other, so it's not really a shock that he came back, in my opinion. There were rumors forever ago that Peggy Carter was supposed to be in this movie, and I think with What If, everybody thought that was going to be Captain Britain, but I think now she's just going to be the mom, or not mom, she's going to be Peggy in this, is what I was assume. And then if Doctor's goal is to save this multiverse, this kid is going to be a problem. Like, this kid's an incursion, so I think he is going to be coming for this kid, so I think that's kind of one of the clues that we get from that one. Okay, for the second trailer, we got an epic Thor trailer. I mean, the Russo brothers are bringing back epic Thor. This isn't, Love and Thunder Thor. He has the haircut again, which I think is interesting. He has Stormbreaker instead of Mjolnir. And then there's that brief shot of Love being sick in bed. Maybe she's sick or injured, or maybe she's just in bed. Maybe the fact that she was resurrected, she's another anomaly. Or, maybe she's sick because the worlds are ending. That's another theory. Thor's arc maybe is just protecting Love, clearly. And then he gives this epic speech: Father, all my life I have answered every call for honor, for duty, for war. But now fate has given me something I never saw, a child, a life untouched by the storm. Lend me the strength of all my fathers so that I might fight once more, defeat my enemy, and return home to her. Bars. And then the trailer number 3, personally my favorite trailer, the only one I've seen in the theaters, is the X-Men trailer. It opens up with Magneto and Professor X, Ian McKellen, and Sir Patrick Stewart playing their classic chess game. They told us a month ago in this chairs that the cast was returning, but we only get to see Magneto, Professor X, and Cyclops. And then you get the shot at the end. Cyclops is pissed with the Centennial in the back, rips off his glasses, and just like, ah! Which is just so cool. James Marsden got to do more as Cyclops in this 5 seconds he was in this trailer than he ever did as the other 3 movies. So that was pretty cool. That made me happy for him. And so, is this universe coming over after Doom? There's not really too much with the kid. Maybe it's maybe Scott's kid got taken. I know they have a few different kids in the comics, so maybe there's something like that with her having, the power of the Phoenix. I know that's a theory, or maybe their world just ended and Dr. Doom did destroy him. I'm not too sure what the clue is for here. So, but let's go ahead and move on to and then we have the 4th trailer, the Black Panther and Fantastic Four trailer. Shuri's talking about life and, how she has to prepare for people for the afterlife. So she's not the king anymore, and Baku is still the queen. Namor's ore farming at the beginning. He's rocking the beer, which I think is pretty cool to see. I think, Shuri's still the Black Panther. I love Shuri as a Black Panther. I think she stepped up a lot with Chadwick Boseman's death. The Thing appears, which is a cool nod to Black Panther's first ever comic, which was in Fantastic Four number 52, 1966. So this is a nod, the Fantastic Four Black Panther. That's really cool. They take a meeting in like a desert-like environment. Some people think it's the Void. I'm pretty sure it's just that like sand area that's at the end of Wakanda Forever. Okay, but how do all these connect? How they connect and my plot theory. Okay, with all these post-credit scenes and trailers, I think we can kind of go step by step to get a general plot of this movie. So the Fantastic Four post-credit scene, Dr. Doom appears and he takes Franklin Richards. Clearly, Franklin Richards has the power of the cosmic, so that's going to be the whole plot line for Secret Wars no matter what. So we knew he was going to get taken for sure, and so clearly maybe Sue goes with him. Maybe they do something because Doom and her have, that love triangle, the comic, which I always hate. I think, I'm just a fan of Sue being a W wife. And we get Sue Storm. It's a little bit after where we were in Fantastic Four First Steps. So either Sue Storm's going to go with him or something. They're going to go away, and I'm assuming the other three, Mr. Fantastic, The Thing, and Human Torch, they're all going to go after them. And, they're going to universe hop, and eventually that's where they end up in Black Panther if we go to this trailer, and that shows the post-credit scene from the Thunderbolts. Some people think, like, Doctor Doom's on that ship, and he's, like, pretending to be good. I don't think they'll do that. I think Doctor Doom's going to be kind of like just a little bit, maybe teaming up with the Wanda here or there. I think it's going to kind of be like Doom's just going to be this powerful aura farming by himself the whole time is kind of what I think. But then the Fantastic Four are going to arrive into Wakanda, explain their situation to Shuri and M'Baku. We're going to see Reed and Shuri, two smart minds working together, which is going to be really cool to see Reed now interacting. The Fantastic Four interacting with characters in the MCU finally. Sam Wilson and Bucky will follow in with their two Avengers teams. They both have history in Wakanda. We know the Thunderbolts already know where they are. We assume the Avengers are going to be able to know it too. And then I bet you there's going to be a joke like one of the Avengers teams are going to show up first and be like, oh, we're the Avengers. And then the other ones will be like, no, we're the Avengers. So there's going to be something like that. And then so far, this is what I think the potential Avengers roster is. You have Sam Wilson, you have Shang-Chi, you have Ant-Man, you have Joaquin Torres, and I think you're going to have She-Hulk. Tatiana Maslany said she's not in Doomsday anymore because they replaced her with Deadpool. I don't think that's true. I still think she's probably going to be a part of this film, which would be cool to see She-Hulk interact with the Fantastic Four, as she is the honorary fifth member of the Fantastic Four, her first appearance being in Fantastic Four 265. Okay, so they're all basically, we have most of these characters right now in Wakanda. And then Thor shows up somehow. He's ore farming in the forest. I don't know where that is. Maybe his daughter was just taken. This is before he goes to Earth to go on a mission. But somehow he needs to split up with them, and he is going to end up in the TVA, I assume. And this is kind of spoilers, maybe a little bit. So if you want to click off, skip like 15 seconds. But there was a stunt double who leaked, Thor's stunt double leaked that he was at the TVA and that there was a conversation between Loki and Thor. So we do know that. And so I think they're going to take that ship. And then the X-Men universe, I think one team, you have Thor's team, and he'll go with some Avengers, and then you're going to have Reed Richards' team, and then they're going to go fight the X-Men and then go to their universe, but it's going to be too late because either the Centennials just won or Doctor Doom just won, and then that's the shot we get of Cyclops. And, they're just kind of there too late, and then potential spoiler, too, because Alan Cumming did say he fought Pedro Pascal, and so clearly I think that's where they go. So I think Reed Richards is going to lead that team. And then you also got the other leak of The Thing and Joaquin Torres in a ship. So they're clearly going to either the TVA or all that together. This is what I'm thinking. Is Deadpool and Wolverine in this X-Men universe? There's no way Deadpool and Wolverine are not in either of these. So I wonder how these guys are going to come into play. That movie was way too massive, for those people not to be in there. And then same thing, Toby. Toby was spotted in London multiple times during the filming of No Way Home. And, as Lucas said in Stranger Things, I don't believe in coincidences. He's going to be in this movie, and if Toby's in this, Andrew has to be in it. Maybe there's a post-credit scene, and they're just at the end of Brand New Day, and they're saving that. And then hopefully Sadie Sink is Gwen Stacy, and it's like the Spider Bros or the Spider Men and women are returning in Doomsday. And then they have their own little Spider-Man team. That would be so cute. I'm really a fan of that. But the Steve Rogers trailer we did not really go over because I am not sure where this connects in the plot line. Do they start the end of this movie where they started Doomsday, the da-da-da? Where I can't sing, so it was definitely offbeat. But whatever that song was at the end where they're dancing together, that's the same house where Steve is. And then in that trailer, too, there's the track marks. So somebody is racing Steve there, and I don't think it's Doom, so I don't think the kid is taken because why would Doom, drive a car? And so I think those marks do that unless if the marks are there because they were there too late maybe. But why is Steve there too late? And then there's people who beat Steve as well. That's all kind of dumb. And then also, Steve can't die. So, Dr. Doom's not going to show up this universe and just murk him real quick because this Steve has to be alive to survive this to give Sam the shield at the end of Endgame that Sam has right now. And so, also, he's going to need to get this shield back. So Sam's going to somehow give him the shield, and then he'll eventually give it to Sam in the future, but it's also the past. And so he has to be alive. So we know Steve Rogers is alive, but also, in that pretext, it was he's going to be fighting crime this whole time. So no shit that he had the shield the whole time. I think they were always planning for Steve Rogers to return. But I just kind of see what do y'all think if I, am I cooking a little bit in the kitchen? You know, every time I think about this movie, I get more excited. I think the Russo brothers can handle it. If this is as good as Endgame's and kind of has the plot holes and all that of Endgame, this movie's gonna be freaking an 8 out of 10 and be incredible. I think Deadpool and Wolverine need to be in it. I think the Spider Bros need to be in it. If we're gonna bring everybody back, I think you need those two groups in it. Gambit's in it too. Like, is Gambit one of the original X-Men members, or is he a part of the Team Deadpool? That's kind of what I'm curious about. That's not what I know. If y'all have any theories on, stuff I'm not curious about, if y'all think I'm way wrong, let me know. And yeah, I'll talk to y'all later.